Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Trucking Tower podcast. I'm very excited to be joined today by Will Whitehouse, who is president at Boxco World Corporation, USA. How are you doing today, Will?
I'm great, Andy. How are you?
I'm doing really well. Thanks for coming on with me today.
Absolutely. Glad to be here. Appreciate the time and the invitation and looking forward to it.
Yeah, me as well. You know, you and I are going to be talking about reducing time and costs on global shipping. Just to kick things off, I'd like to give a special shout out to our sponsor, CyberFuels. If you'd like to reduce the amount of money you spend on fuel by 26 to 95 cents per gallon, reduce emissions and reduce repairs, please be sure to click on that link below. So to give our audience a little background about you, what inspired you to get involved in the global shipping arena?
Yeah, it's a bit of a story, but you know, as a sixth grade kid, I had aspirations when I visited the Naval Academy that's where I was going to go for school. And needless to say, and to speed the story up, I did not. I roundabout way ended up at the United States Merchant Marine Academy with a degree in marine transportation, and you know, quickly through my years of service, got involved in the supply chain and logistics world, and you know, it won't let you leave. You know, we all get to know each other, and I always say that the faces stay the same, but you know, the business cards change. And I've certainly had a good, fortunate career thus far in logistics, and love it, and love the challenge that we see every day and the newness of it. So it's a fun industry, and yeah, here we are.
Absolutely. You know, I've been lucky to work in supply chain for 25 years, and it's a tight-knit community, you know?
It is.
You see a lot of the same people over all those years. Things have changed dramatically in the last 25 years, but a lot of these people that you meet along the way, they're still, you know, once he grabs a hold of you, you can't leave, I guess.
They don't let you leave. Even people I've seen leave the industry completely, and you know, 3-5 years later, they're right back in it, saying, I missed it, or you know, it's just always about logistics and the funness of it, the people you get to work with. You know, we're fortunate to work as an international organization. So, you know, with our office locations in Singapore and Dubai, throughout India, Houston, obviously where I'm at, you get to see all kinds of different cultures and work globally, which is exciting. And we really enjoyed it and grown fairly well over the past 2 years.
Awesome. Yeah. You know, what would you say are 2 or 3 key challenges that you see companies facing today?
Oh, only 2 or 3. Okay. Yeah, it's you know, I would say the biggest thing, and obviously while we're here talking today, is I see a lot of companies just struggling to keep everything together in front of them. There's so many different moving parts of the transportation world and global logistics, and you know, that's where Boxco World comes into play. Is we have a great team of really helping reduce the time spent on, you know, various pieces and various customer or vendors, excuse me, of the different pieces of supply chain. You know, we're seeing a lot of time where clients say, I'm trying to keep up with a trucker, a customs broker, a forwarder, an ocean carrier, and you know, our niche customers are small to medium businesses that are trying to focus, you know, on their niche and their markets during uncertain times. So, you know, I think that's the biggest challenge is going across different companies and different vendors and different invoicing systems. And, you know, thankfully we're able to come in and reduce that time. And I won't say completely get rid of the headache of global transportation these days, but hopefully ease it to, you know, 1 or 2 Advil a day.
Right. Well, I've been lucky to work in 9 countries during my career, and global shipping is a whole different ballgame than just domestic. There's no doubt about it. So on the flip side, what would you say are 2 or 3 keys to success in reducing time and costs on global shipping?
Yeah, I mean, the more that you can streamline the process, the better. You know, it's we see it some from, you know, the ocean carriers, but those are huge organizations, and you know, really bringing everything as much as you can under one roof, under one invoice, letting our group manage it for you. You know, that saves a lot of time, a lot of headache, reduces overhead for a lot of our customers. You know, like I said, we're working with small and medium-sized businesses that are located around the world. Sometimes it's just being able to translate things, you know, for someone, not literally, but, you know, business translate across, you know, the globe, across countries, across continents, is really where we come into play and is our niche, so to speak.
Right. So streamlining and making it easier.
Absolutely.
What I'm hearing. Yeah.
Easier,
Well, that's really
yeah.
awesome. There are a lot of parties involved when you get into global shipping. Right.
There are, and
Yeah.
there's a lot of great companies, and we're here to put the puzzle pieces together and hopefully save some money for our clients along the way too.
Awesome. Very good. So what are some of the biggest benefits that you've seen for clients?
I mean, being able to manage more of their business, you know, focusing on growing what they're trying to grow, whether it's a flooring company that's, you know, based out of Dubai, or, you know, a US exporter that's trying to reach new markets where we have offices or we have presence in. They're able to focus on what their business is and how they can grow their business. And obviously we're there to communicate. And, you know, that's the biggest thing that I stress to my team is, you know, always making sure the client's aware of what's going on. You know, you talk about global shipping being complicated, and it is. I mean, especially when you're importing into a new country with new regulations that you're not familiar with, or importing into the US for the first time, or to a new location within the US. You know, we're there to put the pieces together and, you know, of course, save money. But I really think that global shipping has changed, at least from what we've seen with our clients, to be less rate driven in decisions and more relationship driven in people's decisions. So we focus on nurturing and building those relationships, and again, yeah, saving money, but really doing the ease of business and, you know, doing it around the world.
Absolutely. You know, one of the projects I had many years ago was moving from one third-party logistics company to another. And it really came down to relationships and bad communication and things that were done that could have been solved, but instead it ends up moving to an entire different distribution center, different company, and everything overseas. And so that was, I've seen it and actually lived it. So
yeah, it's, you know, and that's not to say that we're perfect by any means, but because things go wrong. I mean, things get flagged by customs, things get held up in terminals, things get held up at factories that, you know, that's what the client's dealing with. And we have to help them and manage and make changes. And, but I have found, you know, over the past 2.5 years that I've been running Boxco World, that, you know, communication is just, it's the key to everything.
it is.
I don't know if it's, people are just sitting in their houses with COVID and they want to be talked to, or no, I think, you know, they want to know what's going on and they appreciate getting information. And so our team's out there pushing and feeding information to our clients on a regular basis. So they're not chasing us down. They know exactly what's going on, right, wrong, or indifferent. And, you know, we're there to, when things do go wrong, make it right, but also let them know, hey, you know, this is what happened. We're working to correct it. We'll keep you posted. And in 2 hours, my team's back on the phone saying, I'm on the phone, I'm doing this. I'll get back to you, or it's solved, or I don't have an answer for you right now, but we're still working on it. And it really, the clients really appreciate it.
Yeah, it makes a huge difference. You know, I was overseas one time and I had some equipment for shrink wrapping boxes that was behind. And I thought, man, should I call the VP? I don't know. I was kind of young, right? I finally decided I'm just going to call him. He's like, thank you. Because we can't ship product out of this building if we don't have that in place. So I said, well, I thought we better, it's getting critical. So, and he, you know, was super thankful that I reached out and did that. You know, I was this young engineer thinking, I don't know if I should bother him with this or not, but he's like, thank you. So,
and it's little things like that, you know, allow for whoever that VP was to put in a contingency plan and not, you know, lose time in his operations. And, you know, of course, we're the ones over here sweating and thinking that we're about to get chewed on a little bit, but yeah, they appreciate it. And I would say 9.5 times out of 10, it's a positive response from the client, because they know you didn't do it on purpose. It's probably even out of your control, whether it's, with the shipping line or whoever involved in the overall supply chain process. So they appreciate the heads up. They appreciate not having to chase you down and then wondering, what's going on, and they can plan accordingly.
Absolutely. In that case, it was in Singapore. It was some heavy, heavy equipment that had to be craned up to the third floor of the building. So you can imagine, schedule the crane, get the equipment here on the dock, blah, blah, blah. There was multiple parties involved, and the manufacturer was a little behind. We got it expedited, right? And
Yeah.
it worked out. But if we would have just let it sit, sit on it, it would have been a total calamity. So
I'm
anyways,
sure
it
no
worked out
permits
okay in the end there.
no permits were needed for, Singapore either, right?
Oh man, permits, the customs brokering, get it onto the port, then the port trucking company has to get it to the building on the right date when the crane is in place with the permit, all the things, right? And
Absolutely.
fortunately we got it all lined up, but it took a lot of communication. Like,
Yeah.
okay, it is at this port, it will be in Singapore, X date. We need to have the crane there on this date, and build in a little fudge factor. But yeah, communication is so critical. Absolutely.
Yeah.
I found that to be, and being able to know where everything is makes a huge difference.
It does. That's what we're seeing. Even the world change a little bit. I mean, supply chain transportation always seems to be lagging a little bit behind on technology, but we are starting to see the emergence of some really good platforms that allow us to, give our clients access, and they can see almost in real time, where their shipment is and in the entire process. And you think about it in a global scale of, moving something from Karachi to Katy, Texas, and there's a lot of work, a lot of coordination, a lot of communication that goes into it, and things are gonna get bumpy along the way. But our team's really there to manage those bumps, and hopefully not have our client have to deal with anything too serious. But things are going to happen, and that visibility is really becoming a key aspect along the way as well.
Absolutely. If you know where things are, you can plan accordingly around it. Right. So, okay. So what are the best ways for people to connect with you or your company, Will?
Yeah. Our website is boxcoworld.com, which myself and our team is displayed on there very nicely. Also, my LinkedIn page is great. I believe in a firm, open network and relationships, and just like I said, it's funny. I go back and I just had lunch with someone that's been connected over the years, and they're in a new opportunity, new role, and finding ways to work together here in Houston. So my LinkedIn page is certainly a great way. And then my email is williamw@boxcoworld.com. Love to hear from people, see how we can work together, see how I can help your organization. We're all in this together, and we all need each other. And I think a lot of us really already knew that, but solidified that during a global pandemic where it did come down to, the rates were all over the place, but it came down to the relationships that we had, and knowing who you could pick up the phone from, in my case, working in my daughter's room at her desk while my wife was in the office downstairs, but who I could pick up the phone and call and get an answer. And so yeah, I look forward to working with everyone and supporting their businesses, and appreciate the support of ours.
Absolutely. We love featuring solutions, right? We all need them.
we do. Absolutely. We
So,
all need each other. And I look at everything as a partnership at any point in the supply chain, because I can only do so much on my end, and I'm not a truck driver. So, and I did sail for a long time, for a while, but I need the OSHA carriers, I need the truckers, I need the customs clearance, and whoever else along the way. So partnership.
absolutely. Nope. None of us can do it on our own. There's no way. So this last question I ask of all my guests, right? What would you say as a final word of advice for our friends out there listening or watching today?
I would go back to partnerships. Remember who you're talking to, and that these are friends or colleagues, however you would like to look at it, but the importance and the value of those partnerships, and you never know what the future holds and what that partnership may lead to. You might be coworkers, you might be colleagues, you never know, and just value those partnerships and take care of people.
Absolutely. Totally agree. I mean, partnerships have been so awesome for me across the years in growing business and expanding into new areas and adding new capabilities. There's so many things you can do through great partnerships and working together. So I wholeheartedly agree with that. So
Absolutely.
thanks again for coming on with me, Will. I really appreciate it.
I appreciate the time. Look forward to hearing from people, and look forward to talking again soon.
Absolutely. Well, that's going to do it for this edition of the Trucking Tower Podcast. Thanks for listening or watching, everybody, and we'll see you again soon. Take care.